Hey, welcome to Thinking is Contagious. We've discussed on several programs the ramifications of this money printing giveaway of U.S. taxpayer dollars. Dollars that every day are worth less and less because the quantity of them, the supply of money has been escalated to a point where the, the availability of the product renders its value basically meaningless. That's why you're seeing the rise of the cryptocurrencies, and the government is hysterically, frantically trying to gain control because they know that what they've done to the dollar by printing indiscriminate with no basis of backing other than the good faith of the United States government, they fully comprehend that people are beginning to lose faith. Americans are beginning to lose faith in their government. And that's why the cryptocurrencies are going the way that they're going, and they won't be stopped. And the government has realized this and has decided that they've got to get their piece. You saw Joe Biden floating the report, supposedly part of this $3.5 trillion tax package, includes the reporting requirements that are now for $10,000 transactions and above, now for $600 annual. So the government is trying to get a hold of this. They are trying to get as much financial information as they can about you so that they can use it down the road, because they know they have collapsed. They are in the process of collapsing the United States currency, and they fully comprehend this. And what is happening with these reports about runaway inflation, which at the end of the day, this will prove to be incorrect. There will be no inflation. We're going to be facing a deflationary period, a stagflation period, perhaps, is because this is temporary, and I'll tell you why. It's what we've discussed before. The flooding of this money into the hands of people who are taking this money and spending it because they have no basis or experience in the handling of capital. Suddenly people find themselves with savings accounts that they didn't have them before. People find themselves with money in the bank that they did not have before. So what are they doing? They're buying things. But what's happening? They're buying things in a manner that is fueling this inflation, which will go away when these dollars stop flowing. And I'll tell you an example. My daughter's buying a house. We call a surveyor to do a survey of the house. A surveyor that we have used in the past many times. And granted, the couple of years have gone by, but a survey of a house that used to cost $300-400 for a survey. We call the surveyor, and the surveyor quotes a price of $875 for a survey of a house. Why is this happening? This is happening for two reasons. People are buying houses at a very accelerated rate, and more importantly, some of the people that are buying houses have no idea of how much things should cost or do cost in the past historically. And because they have this newfound capital in their bank account that they did not work for, and here's the key, that was placed in their account, was given to them, it's not as painful to say, okay, here's $875 for an appraisal. Survey, excuse me. Here's $875 for a survey. It's not as painful. You know why? Because it didn't take that much to get that money. As a matter of fact, it took nothing. It was mailed. It was sent electronically into your account. So easy come, easy go. And it's what we've been talking about, how this money in the hands of people that are not accustomed to having money ultimately ends up in the hands of people who do know how to make money. And this gouging that's taking place, you can't blame people. It's supply and demand. They're being overburdened with demand on their time, and they're putting out a price saying, If someone's foolish enough to pay this, we will put you to the head of the line. We will do your work. And they're getting it. But the reason they're getting it is what we said. The reason they're getting it is because the people that are making the decision to approve the expenditure, to write the check, to spend the money, it didn't take that much effort to make that money. It didn't take any effort to make that money. When that goes away, when the economy goes back to what it's supposed to be, which is effort made, income earned, and people see how hard it is to make a living and accrue wealth and capital, the times will go back to a more stringent requirement as to pricing. So everything you're seeing now, this inflation that they're scaring you with about runaway inflation and what's coming, there will be, in my opinion, no runaway inflation as soon as the economy is allowed to resort back to a real self-actuating economy. Technology. We are in the middle of the technological revolution. This is like the Industrial Revolution, but in technology. The advances that have been made in the last 2 years since the pandemic and will be made over the next 5 to 10 years in technology, the biggest deterrent of inflation is technology. Through artificial intelligence, through robotics, through automation, through cost-cutting measures based on advances in technology, trickling down all the way to medical treatment and medications and computing and processing and record keeping. All these things fight inflation. There's no way that we are going to see long-term inflation because technology is here and it's fast-tracked. Those are factors that are not being talked about while they try to scare America with this issue of inflation. Make no mistake, the root cause of what we're seeing today is because too many people have money in the bank that was given to them. Thus, to spend it is not a big deal. And that's what's happening. Another factor, another thought. You know what, I'm going to leave this one for another program because it's pretty deep and it's going to be kind of controversial, and it's going to be something that it's going to raise the hackles of many of you. But I'm going to say it, and I really believe it. And stay tuned. It'll be one of our next programs. But just wanted to share my thoughts about the gouging that's going on and the root cause of the inflation, the false inflation numbers that we're seeing today. You couple that, what we just discussed, with the mistaken concept of the minimum wage that we discussed in the previous program being a boom for the lower wage earning public, being that is a true fallacy. And instead of creating employment, it will create unemployment. When you factor those two things in together, stagflation is very likely in the near future. Thank you.